He caught me cheating. What he did next broke my heart forever. My name is Lily, and this is the story of how my selfish mistake destroyed the one person who ever truly loved me. It all started 3 years into my marriage with Adam. He was the kind of man people called too good to be true. Steady job, soft-spoken, endlessly patient, and completely devoted to me. He never forgot birthdays, always left me small notes before work, and still opened doors for me like we were newlyweds. But over time, I grew restless. Adam's quiet nature began to feel like indifference. He worked long hours as an engineer, and I convinced myself that his silence meant he didn't care anymore. I started craving excitement, something to make me feel wanted again. That's when I met Ryan. Ryan was everything Adam wasn't: loud, confident, and daring. We met at a colleague's birthday dinner. He was charming, funny, and made me feel noticed. It started with harmless texts, then coffee, then lunches, and soon it became something I can't even justify to myself. Adam never suspected anything. He trusted me blindly, and that trust made me reckless. For months, I lived 2 lives, one with my loving husband and another filled with lies. Then, one Friday evening, everything came crashing down. I was at Ryan's apartment when I got a text from Adam: "Dinner's ready, come home soon. I made your favorite." My stomach twisted. I told Ryan I had to leave, but as I walked out, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a picture. A picture of my car parked right outside Ryan's building. My blood ran cold. I didn't even realize Adam had installed a GPS tracker after I'd lost my car a few weeks earlier. When I got home, the lights were dimmed. The dinner table was set beautifully: candles, wine, and the meal he'd spent hours making. Adam was sitting there, calm, too calm. "Did you have fun?" he asked quietly. I froze. "What are you talking about?" I stammered. He slid his phone across the table. On it was a photo: my car outside Ryan's apartment, time-stamped. There was no denying it. My throat tightened. "Adam, he raised his hand. "Please, don't insult me with lies." His voice didn't rise, but every word cut deeper than shouting ever could. I started to cry, but he just looked at me with empty eyes. "I'm not angry," he said softly. "Just broken." He stood up, walked to our bedroom, and came back with an envelope. "This," he said, placing it in front of me, "is the deed to the house. It's yours. You can stay if you want. I'm leaving." I shook my head, panicked. "Adam, please, we can fix this." He smiled sadly. "You didn't break us tonight, Lily. You've been breaking us for months. Tonight, I just saw the pieces." Then he left. No yelling, no slamming doors, just silence. For the first few days, I kept waiting for him to come back. He didn't. His number was disconnected. His coworkers said he'd taken a transfer to another city. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that I found out he had quit his job entirely and moved across the country. He'd even sent divorce papers through a courier. No note, no message, just his signature at the bottom. I signed them, but the moment I did, I felt something inside me collapse. The man who had loved me with every ounce of his being had walked away, and I had no one to blame but myself. Months passed, and guilt consumed me. I tried reaching out through his friends, but Adam never responded. Then one afternoon, a mutual acquaintance called me by accident during a business conference. I heard Adam's name mentioned. He had started his own firm and was thriving. Apparently, he'd bought a small cabin by a lake and was seeing someone new, a woman his friends described as gentle and kind. That night, I drove to the lake. I didn't plan to talk to him, just to see him one last time. I stayed in my car, watching from a distance as he laughed with her by a campfire. His smile, the same one I used to wake up to, looked real again. He looked healed. For a moment, I wanted to get out, to tell him I was sorry, but I didn't. Because I knew he deserved peace, not reminders of pain. As I sat there, tears streaming down my face, I realized the cruel irony. I had cheated on him for excitement, but in the end, it was his absence that taught me what real emptiness felt like. Adam hadn't just left me, he had forgiven me silently by choosing happiness elsewhere. And that forgiveness, that quiet dignity, broke my heart more than any anger ever could. Now, years later, I still wear the necklace he gave me on our wedding day, not as a token of love, but as a reminder of what I lost when I traded loyalty for thrill. People say karma comes in many forms, mine came wrapped in silence, in the form of a man who walked away without hate, leaving me to face the echo of my own choices.